Learn how the JSON Stringify method handles function by automatically omitting them, both the key and the value, completely from the serialized JSON string. In this example, we are going to be looking at how JSON Stringify omits functions. So let's move into the script tag and look at an example. Now, since we want to omit functions, we definitely need an object to work with. So let's go ahead and make an object. So let's John age 20, city of Berlin. Now, this is my object. And when I've done this, it's time for me to stringify it. So let me make another variable and call it my JSON. And then I'm going to call in the JSON.stringify method. It's a built-in method in JavaScript. I'll pass my object to it. Now, before I move on, we already know that JSON is strictly a data format that we can send or retrieve from the server, and it doesn't allow active logic like functions. But what happens in situations if you try to stringify an object that has a function mixed into its data anyway? Well, instead of throwing a loud error or crashing your website, JSON Stringify method quietly sweeps it under the rug. And how does it do that? Well, let's go ahead and look at what we have earlier. Earlier, I put age to be 20. Now, I want to use a function here instead of a direct number. And says return 20. Now, let me go ahead and display this on the screen. And now on the screen, you should see name, John, and city of Berlin. Notice that the age part of this object has been stripped away. So what happened? Well, what happened is that instead of the JSON Stringify method to crash this site, it just completely silenced the issue and put it under the rug. So instead of throwing a loud error, it won't do that. It will just completely sweep this issue under the rug. So, and how does it sweep it under the rug? It's just completely skip over it. So it will skip over this function. Anything that it finds that is function related, removing both the key and the function itself from the final text string. So it filters out the logic. So only the raw static data gets saved or sent, just as what you can see here on the screen. So it filters this object. Once it hits this key and value, then it will just sweep everything under the rug completely, so as not to throw a loud error or crash the site. So it will just keep it automatically. So it will omit the function, and then it will pick only the raw static data that can be interpreted. For example, let's say you are sending this over the server. Only the name and city is what can be interpreted in JSON format. So JSON format will just omit your function, and then it will pick the other data and then send it over the server. Now, this example shows an object that is representing a user profile. It includes a normal text keys, the name, city, and the function that is assigned to it. So when passed through the JSON.stringify method, this function is completely dropped, and then the printed output on the screen reveal that the function has been completely dropped from our code. And you can see that the age property has vanished entirely. So this part is the function that is declared as a property value inside the standard object literal structure and the stringify is where the serializations is happening, and this part is where the DOM is being written into and responsible for displaying the output on the screen. So here are a few key takeaways from this lesson. Number one, JSON.stringify method automatically strip native functions out of objects entirely to prevent errors and maintain universal data standards. Number two, while functions inside objects are completely removed, functions inside the array are treated differently. They are turned into null to preserve the array's index order. So if we are using this inside an array, then this will be preserved as null, and this will be treated as null, N-U-L-L, in order to preserve the index positioning that array uses in its construction. And lastly, always structure your data profile to only contain serializable raw values, strings, numbers, arrays, booleans, and leave behavioral method out of transmission objects, which means that logic should not be contained when you are structuring your data. You should structure your data in such a way that the profile or whatever data you are trying to pass only contains serialized raw value. So that raw value could either be string, it could be numbers, it could be an array, and it could be a boolean.